welcome and very good evening, Ms. Aisha. And thank you, Ms. Aisha, for agreeing with us to participate in this interview. So today we would like to discuss you about issue which is rural-urban educational gap.
Okay.
So a little bit info, that is, it is referred to the differences in educational opportunities, resources, and academic outcomes between students living in rural areas and those living in urban areas. So I will ask us 4 questions, and it is for group assignment, which is curriculum development. So first things first, question number 1. What are the main factors contributing to the educational gap between rural and urban areas?
Okay, I would say technology. The reason why there is such a big gap between urban and rural will be the existence of technology. In urban, by right, we have internet, we have electricity, but in rural, sometimes electricity is scarce. It's not even there. Some villages do not have electricity, let alone water, basic necessities. So when these basic necessities are not fulfilled, of course there will be some effect in the education. So opportunities-wise, students in rural will be left behind in terms of technology.
Okay, so my second question is, how does a rural-urban educational gap affect students' academic achievement and future opportunities?
I wouldn't say there is a lot of effect in terms of rural versus urban. Yes, there will be a lot of opportunities for these urban students to get better education, but results-wise, there are some students in rural area who manage to score very well compared to the urban, and it's not because of the lack of technology, it's just the students themselves. I think their awareness in order to be better in terms of education, to be better in terms of improving themselves and also their families. So I don't think that there are big effects in terms of education, but you cannot deny that students who are in urban excel. But to say that there is a big gap in terms of academics, I don't think there is any.
I see. Okay, my third question is, what challenges do students from rural area face when entering higher education institutions?
Personally, I would say, okay, I'm talking from my personal experience, of course. Students who come from rural area, they tend to be left behind in terms of language, one thing, and as well as they are up to date in terms of technology. Students who are in urban area, they are already used to using tablets, they are so already used with websites and everything. But students who come from rural, the universities, the higher educations are the first place they see this kind of technology. Sometimes, not to everyone, of course, but sometimes they encounter this kind of technology first time in university. So that's one of the things, okay, that will be different. And language. In rural area, I believe, okay, the minimum passing for them to actually obtain, for example, English, okay, for them to get into higher education, they do not need to be so proficient in terms of language. They can just say some very basic words and they can manage to enter higher education. But when you compare it to the urban area where there are much more competitions, and there are a lot of students who can be very proficient, their muat is very good, okay? So, bila they meet this rural or this rural mid-urban, they will feel left behind, language and also technology.
Okay, so my final question, in your opinion, Miss, what initiative can help reduce educational inequalities between rural and urban students?
I would say probably some outreach program or maybe some exchange program where these rural students can occasionally go to the urban area to do some projects or to do some programs so that they are not, you can say, culture shock, like they are not unfamiliar when they go to urban because they already have this exposure earlier during their school time, during their younger youth generation time, okay? When they are given this kind of exposure earlier in life, so when they go into higher education later, they are not surprised. They can adapt very well because they already know what to expect, okay? Even schools can actually prepare them by probably having some materials that are very urban, okay, like bringing some technology such as VR, such as ChatGPT, okay. They bring this technology into the classroom even though it is rural, even though the students are not familiar with it. If they manage to introduce this to students earlier on, okay, so when students go into higher education later, they can adapt very easily. That's to me.
Okay. Thank you, Miss Aisha, for sharing your valuable insights for our issue, that is rural-urban educational gap. Your views have provided us with a better understanding of both its benefits and challenges. Thank you again for your time and cooperation. Good morning to Ms. Natalia Amanda.
Good morning.
Thank you, Ms. Amanda, for agreeing to us participate in this interview. So today we would like to discuss two issues, that is one, assessment-oriented education system, and two, moral and value education.
Okay.
So the first question for our assessment-oriented education system. In your opinion, Miss, what are the advantage and disadvantage of an assessment-oriented education system?
Okay. In my understanding, assessment-oriented education is education that is highly focused on students' achievement, right? So one of the advantages is that we can actually evaluate and we can know how well and how have the students understand the materials well. So we can only learn through that and get information when students do assessment. Okay, so like individual assignments or group assignments. So from there, the students are able to work on their understanding as an individual. But for group assignments, the advantages is that they can discuss with other team members, other students about their understanding of the subjects, and they can work on the project together. So the advantages are that they can work together with other students, they can also test their own understandings. But I think disadvantages is that the students might get too stressed out, okay, in terms of the outcome of their assessment, their marks and final examinations, right? So that they will narrow their understanding and narrow their revision to what the final exam questions will be based on. So that is the advantages. Yeah.
My second question is, how does a strong focus on examination and assessment affect students' learning experience?
Yes, so it can affect their learning experiences in terms of not only getting a other experience, holistic experience, okay, such as learning through real life experiences, okay, those are good outcomes as well. But what it would do to their learning experiences is that it will limit them. It will limit them to only focus on the assessment and what will come out during the final exam, and they will not venture out on other experiences outside of maybe in their university or outside or outside. Yeah.
Okay. So the second issue. moral and value education. The first question, what is moral and value education important in today's educational system?
It's very important because nowadays our education or even our world, we are becoming more digital and globalization is taking over. So moral values are slowly being hindered or being neglected because we are too focused on skills. Okay, so when an individual is too focused on the skills and digital and media and AI usage or gadgets, that will affect our moral values in terms of such as being empathy and having empathy and being kind towards other students. And it will turn the students to more competitive, may be positive, but the negative effects can also come. So moral values is very important in this digital era.
Well, last but not least, how can universities integrate moral value into academic teaching and learning?
Universities need to focus on the teaching. Okay, so from the instructor themselves, the lecturers, they need to facilitate discussions about having moral values in the academic syllabus, even though it's not a topic, but they need to incorporate it during discussions with the students.
Okay, thank you, Ms. for sharing your valuable insights on those two issues. And your views have provided us with a better understanding of both its benefits and challenges. Thank you again, Ms., for your time and cooperation.
You're welcome. Thank you.